video, we're going to make our actor look as if he's traveling really fast while he's battling with the sword. You can easily recreate this effect. We just need to film a few footage and then we can jump into Filmora and see how we can put it all together. So grab your camera and tripod and now let's see how we can film this effect. For this super speed effect, I'm going to be filming indoors because I can control the lighting much better. We're going to have an empty shot of our location and then we're going to tell our actor to come in, draw his sword, and every time he's moving into a new position, he's going to kind of bounce back and forth and then continue moving forward until he exits the frame. And you can ask your actor to do any type of movement. It could be a fight scene, jumping around, throwing punches, or anything else that you want. Once we have our empty shot and our actor battle video, we can now move into Filmora and put them all together. Drag the empty shot video onto your first video track and then put the actor striking video right on top. Now over here we're going to comb through our actor video and look for the parts where he is about to make a strike. So right over here where he's moving, we're going to make a cut right here. And then we're going to go for where he is in another position. And then we're going to make another cut when he is in his third and final position. Let's drag the position videos onto the track above so that we have an organized timeline. Right over here, we're going to select the bottom video where he's about to move into his second location, right click, and we're going to just add a freeze frame. Use your right arrow keys to move in frame by frame. I'm going to make my video 2 frames. We can always come back and add or remove the frames as we'd like. And then we're going to do the same thing. So again, our actor is moving in normal speed. And then right when he's moving, we're going to right click, add freeze frame, and then move in 2 frames by using your right arrow key. Split the video and get rid of the rest. And then for our final freeze frame, we're going to move it upwards because this is the last frame and he's going to be moving out of our video. So we can just bring it 1 floor up and use the same freeze frame technique. Make a cut right here, bring it up, and then we have our final freeze frame. Use your right arrow keys to find the spot where he is moving. Then right click and add a freeze frame. For this last video, we're going to need about 3 frames, so count the frames by using your right arrow key. So once we zoom in into our timeline, we should have something like this. So now we have all of these freeze frames. Let's go into our first frame. We're going to add a mask around our subject. Double click on the freeze frame video, go to mask, choose a rectangle and then adjust the box so that it's around our subject, but leave enough room so that we can blur out the edges. Once you have your box ready, we can scroll down and blur the edges. We can also add to the radius so we don't get a sharp rectangle, but a rounded one. So now we have the mask. Let's hit OK. And we want to repeat this for all of the freeze frame videos. Once we have a mask around all of our subject's freeze frame, we're going to blur out each of those frames. Go to the effects menu and type in blur. And we're going to use the rotate blur effect. Add it directly onto your freeze frames. Go into each video, double click, and we're just going to be blurring out our subject. Later on, we're going to come back to the mask and make our subject a little bit more skinnier so that the motion looks smooth. Go to Video Effects and increase the first slider as well as the second. Leave the rest of these sliders as they are. And now we can go back to Mask and work with the width and the height. We basically have this blurry shot of our subject because he's going to be moving really fast. Hit OK once you're finished and repeat this for the other 2 freeze frames. Once finished, we're going to be keyframing these freeze frames into different positions. Before we do that, let's increase each of these freeze frames by 1 frame. Just grab the edge right here and increase it by 1 frame. Do this for all the other ones. and reposition the video so that right after this video ends, the other starts. Just drag it like this. And now let's go into our first video. Double click, animation, customize. Let's add a keyframe, and then at the end, we want it to move towards the location of our second position. So that means using position X and Y to move this guy close in. You can skip through to make sure that they're in the same position. So now our actor is going to be moving really fast from position A to position B. Now let's do the same thing for the other freeze frames. Once again, double clicking, heading over to the animation, adding a keyframe from the original position, and then moving in one more frame where we can just move the position X and Y so that it matches the real-time video that's coming right after. Since our character is coming closer to the camera, we also need to scale in this freeze frame. Now for the final video, since he's moving out of frame, we're going to do the same thing for the first keyframe, but then in the second one, we're going to just move it out of the frame. So go in by one frame and use position X to bring it all the way to the left until it is out of frame. There we go. And then we're just left with the background. Let's go into the real-time videos, double click and add a mask as well. But this time our mask needs to be big enough because they're going to be moving more than the freeze frames. Once you have aligned the box, make sure to always add to the blur strength. And then go back in your video. And if your actor is moving, we can just add keyframes for the mask. So right over here, I'm going to add a keyframe. And then I will go to the part where he's about to fade out. And we're basically going to use the position X and Y to move the mask. Now let's repeat that for the other two videos. Once again, adding a mask, blurring out the edges, and then changing the position of our mask by adding keyframes. We can finish this off by adding an electrical power to our character. So every time that they're stable, they're going to release some sort of electricity. Go to the Elements menu, and we're going to type in electricity. I'm going to use this effect. Place it above the videos where your character is landing from their really fast teleportation. Let's lock the video layers so that we don't accidentally move them. Double click on the effect and reposition it. We can also rotate this effect by double clicking, going to transform, and we can just rotate it so that it matches our subject. Hit OK, and then we can speed this up so that it's not as slow. I increased mine by 6 times. And now my character has this electricity effect when they come in. Let's copy and paste this for our second video. And readjust the position. You can finish this off with a filter. So you can just go to the Effects menu, come down to the LUT section, where you can choose a dramatic filter that can bring your video together. I will add this effect as well, Modern Grunge filter, and then lower the opacity so that I get a cold tone video for my anime character. And now we're finished. As you saw, it was pretty easy to do, so now let's work together and create the same style.